So this is an Ignition Inside interview that I have really been looking forward to. Stephen Nale, you look like a bit of a rock star at the moment. You and I both. You've upped my stakes here. Yeah. Super cool. Driving through Joburg city centre, convertible BMW M6. It doesn't get any better than this. Welcome to the show. You're a BM man through and through, right?
Yes, indeed. Germans, as you know, the brand has been very good to me. The brand has been very good to the country, just from an investment point of view. And it's also one of the first OEMs that were bold enough to appoint a black dealer.
Well, we need to talk about that. 2008, you make the bold move to say, listen, Joburg City Auto, I'm taking it over. It's mine, 100% black owned. Big, brave move, but you've been in the industry for a long time. Why did you feel you were ready then to come back to BMW and to take on the city?
Well, you will agree that Joburg City Auto is an economic hub, and the LSM that is around here aspires for the brand.
Yeah.
The BMW brand, not only is it about money sometimes, it is a very strong brand with the black community, and even the innovative part of it. And we've always had a slogan called BM, I want it because I want it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's been key. But also the driving force behind it is, I'm born in Soweto, and growing up, you aspire to own a BMW, but I never thought at some stage that I would be owning it.
Listen, we've got to talk about what you've just gone and done there. I mean, the dealership you've built, created, opened in November, perfect location, a landmark, I think, in terms of the rebirth of Newtown, Maboneng, the precinct.
Okay.
You must be so proud. It looks amazing. But I mean, you are an entrepreneur through and through. You've got a property business. I didn't even know that. So tell me how that came about, getting that prime piece of land and getting what is an amazing dealership off the ground.
That piece of land, for your information, was a dumping ground. And we saw, you visualize these things.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my partners, we can put up a dealership there, and if we get the structure right, you'll have visibility, you'll have proximity, because to get into the dealership, it is off the highway and you are in there.
Yeah.
The second thing, again, remember, we had to make sure that we get into what BMW calls future retail. So if you look at the facility, sometimes it's not only about the building, what we offer inside. It is just amazing.
It's an experience.
It is, and with the kind of the vehicles that are coming on board, you need to make sure that the facility is ready.
Obviously, it's a big step up. You were chatting to me earlier before we got into the car and started this interview. For you, what is critical is job creation and making sure you are sustainable. Bigger dealership. How many more people are you now employing? And can we talk about the Ford dealership too? I mean, this is a big expansion for you.
Well, if we had to talk about BMW, we had to add about 20 additional people, because we didn't have Mini before.
Yeah.
So we had to set up this Mini franchise, which is about 5 people. Then you need to employ the technician, you need to employ a service advisor. So these are permanent jobs that we had to create. So BMW, we've got just under 90 people working there.
Wow.
Then the new addition to the family being Ford, we've got about 65 people employed. I'm talking about permanent jobs, not like 30 days and stuff like
this
that.
Is...
and again, the quality of the people that we had to employ, because we have a culture.
Of course.
The culture of Joburg City Auto embraces Newtown, embraces the new culture of the customer that buys this product. And I'm very big on that.
Yeah.
And as I said to you earlier, the most important thing for us is to be able for people to know Joburg City Auto, not Stephen Nale.
That is very refreshing, because it's quite easy, I suppose, to get caught up in this. I mean, we are top down, living the good life. And obviously it's a great sales pitch for you and what you've achieved as still being the only 100% owned BMW dealership.
Okay.
But it still has to be a viable business.
Any business has to be profitable. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. It's got to be profitable, and then the second thing is sustainability.
Yeah.
And then the last one is to grow these businesses. Because despite being profitable, despite the legacies that we want to leave behind, we need to make sure that we create jobs, and especially the youth. Yeah. Now you can't have a quarter of the population unemployed. That is a recipe for disaster. But people like you and I must be bold. We must take risks to be able to do that.
where did you first fall in love with cars? And I mean, I know you said it was always BMW.
Yeah.
You dabbled around in other brands, but you came back to this brand.
Yeah.
What's your first memory of motoring? What excited you about cars, and what was your first car?
Yeah, I'm gonna give my age away now. It was a Dodge called 1974 two-door.
Wow, you are. But you're looking good.
And again, then I worked for a company called Resex Motor Group.
Yep.
It was in Mayfair. And then the current owners then of Lindest Auto, which was Rob Sexton and Christo. I think you've met Christo
No, I haven't.
Zambezi. Christo and I came through the ranks.
Okay.
So we've been together, I think I was with Christo and Rob for about 10 to 15 years. And then from then I branched on my own. And again, talking about going back to the issue of support structure, despite family, despite friends, it's very key to surround yourself with the right stuff.
Yeah.
We can invest all these monies and we can have the most best business plan. If you haven't got the right people working for you, that support becomes a problem.
But can we say that filters down from the top? It's very easy to talk the talk, but I can imagine for your staff, they look at you and they say, right, you've set that bar, you've set that value, and that for me is critical. I always like, it's those little things that impress me.
No, but it must be a way of life. It mustn't be a show.
Yeah,
you know,
genuine.
and that's where leadership, when we talk about leadership, when we talk about guidance, you got to lead from the front. I sell cars.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go to my sales manager and my sales execs to say, how many did you sell when you did not sell a car yourself? At the age of selling a car, the day it stops, then maybe it's time to move on. And remember when I said to you earlier, I love what I do. I love interacting with customers and starting the deal from scratch, speccing the car. I mean, I spec this car that you are driving now. And the car arriving, the smell of the leather, and seeing the customer drive out of that car. And again, you do different things every day. Different customers, different deliveries. And sometimes there's hiccups.
No 2 days are the same.
Oh yes, and there's days where it is just chaos. You know, and you need to be leading in terms of sorting that out.
Okay, before we run out of time, then what I want to ask you said it's a tough environment. We know that.
Okay.
What makes people come back to Joburg City Auto? What do you think it is? Is it that personal attention? Is it level of service? Is that what keeps people loyal to a brand and loyal to a dealership?
60% of our business is repeat business.
Wow.
And the customer at Joburg City Auto moves from being a customer to being a friend, but not forgetting the barrier between a friend and a customer.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not confusing you, because sometimes we forget. All right, so a friend comes to buy a customer, you still think it's a friend. When you are transacting, that's a customer.
Yeah.
And I think that we have kept very, very high. The second thing, you must never have a high staff turnover, because you must look after your employees. No matter how tough it is, you stick with them, because when the customer comes back looking for Bongani must be there.
Yeah.
But when you see a high staff turnover of people,
you realize
then that's
something's
a
not
recipe
right.
for disaster with that business.
Yeah, I suppose subconsciously as a customer we think, oh, something's not right. There's a lot of people going through this business. Very interesting. Final question. You touched on the fact that Ford and BMW complement each other. I've got to ask you how, why, what's your vision? Because that's interesting.
We have a challenge. I mean, you are in the motor industry, even if it's through media or TV, whatever. I'm very worried about the price of vehicles.
Okay.
And if you look at the cheapest BMW that can buy, whether BM and a Mini, you're looking at about 400,000 rand. So we were losing those customers. So if a customer walks in and we cannot sell him a 300,000,
where does he go?
There's an option next door.
Happy.
The second thing is that with the profile of our customers, some of them are into commercial, and then they would come and ask me, Stephen, where do I buy Bucky's? Where do I buy this? And now at least it's next door. The challenge with this is that the service that they get at BMW, they expect it at Ford. And that's where you needed to make sure that this connects properly.
Stephen, it's been a real pleasure to have you on Inside Out Ignition GT. Well done.
Thank you very much.
And this, for me, is a landmark. It really is. Well done.
Thank you very much. It's also very important that we need the support that we can. We need feet into these businesses. And I appreciate Ignition for coming. And again, this is not a sales speech, but it's important that at least our customers have got a hope. Because in terms of the facilities that we have brought here, these are world class.
I can see that.
And I'm very proud to say that.
All I've got to do is taste your coffee.
Oh yes, we count it out.